Friends, we will make a beginning with the new topic, refunds. In fact, refunds is a small topic in the subject of direct tax. Here the issues that we need to look at would be when the SSC will be eligible for the refunds and how do you make the claim for the refunds, within what time limit you require to make this particular application for the refund, and can you make this application for the refund even after the expiry of the time limits, and then can you make the challenge of the assessment order at the time when you are making the application for the refund. Is it possible? That is, can you question the assessment order? Then if there is a delay in making the payment of the refund, can you get interest? And the interest is paid at what rate? And of course, the final issue there will be, let us suppose for one particular year I require to get the refund, and in another particular year I need to pay the tax. So what the refund that I need to get, can it be adjusted against whatever the tax that I require to pay? These are the areas we have to discuss in the topic of refunds. Now first thing is, who is eligible for refund? Yes, simple answer. If you are paying a higher tax than what you are liable to pay, then you can claim the refund at this point. That means amount paid by either the SSC in the form of advance tax or deducted at the source by others on his behalf. Put together, you have to, from that you have to reduce the tax payable on the assessed income. Then the refund comes. See, we studied one point earlier in the assessment procedure. When you file a return, and if some amount is refundable to you, through 143(1) intimation, you are going to get that refund. Here what we are discussing here is, like, you file your return and paid the tax and your assessment got completed, then something refundable to you. So refund is being discussed through section 237, and section 237 says what? How much of the refund you will be getting and how do you compute it. For that, what is stated? Amount paid by the SSC or on his behalf are treated as paid by him or on his behalf. It is nothing but the advance tax and the TDS less tax payable on the assessed income. That will be the refund. Then can a person other than the SSC can he claim the refund? Point here is, in some situation, other than the SSC, somebody else need to file the return. Representative SSCs will be making the returns. So the SSC whose total income or another person under any other provisions of the tax shall be entitled to the refund in respect of such income. So also the refund of tax on the fringe benefits. And let us suppose the death of the father, can the son, as a legal representative, can he make the claim for the refund? Yes. As a legal representative of the SSE, on the death or SCB incapacitated, then they can also make the claim for the refunds. What is the time limit for making the claim for the refund? What is stated is within 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year, whether it be fringe benefit tax or the regular tax refund, it has to happen within 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year, and the form in which they need to make this application is the form number 30. So write down this important point. Section 239, Section 239, time limit for claiming the refunds. Time limit for claiming the refunds. It must be done within 1 year. Within 1 year from the last day of relevant assessment year. From the last day of relevant assessment year. Then friends, the next issue will be belatedly can an application be made for claiming that particular refund. Further, what we are saying, the loss returns, a similar concept. Loss returns usually required to be made within the due date. But of course, exceptionally, belatedly also, that is you can file your loss return and they can definitely excuse such a delay. Of course, in case if the loss is a prescribed quantum, then as Chief Commissioner can condone the delay, like that CBDT can condone the delay, like that history. A similar concept is there here also. You require to get refund and you pay to make an application for the refund within the date which we prescribed, that is within 1 year from the last day of the relevant assessment year. Then belatedly you can file and the delay can be condoned. Of course, subjected to satisfaction of some conditions. What are those conditions? The refund arises as a result of TDS and advance tax, and the income of the SSE is not accessible in the hands of any other person under the provisions of the Act, and no interest will be admissible on the belated refund claims, and CCIT or CIT is empowered to direct the assessing officer to make necessary inquiries to ascertain the correctness of that particular refund. Of course, no claim under this provision will be entertained after the 6 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. These are the aspects which we should keep in our mind. So write down, this is also very important. Main heading, belated claim for the refunds. Belated claim for the refunds. Of course, this is being discussed through the CBDT circular. Two columns we put. One is for the amount of refund. There is the income tax authority. who has got a power to accept this particular belated claim for the refund. Up to 10 lakhs, up to 10 lakhs, Commissioner of Income Tax. Next, between 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs, between 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Greater than 50 lakhs, greater than 50 lakhs, it is the CBD, Central Board of Direct Taxes. Now, secondly, conditions for admission of the claims. Conditions for admission of the claim by the CCAT oblique CIT. So, first prerequisite is number 1, refund arises. Refund arises as a result of TDS oblique TCS and advance tax. Then number 2, the income of the SSE is, the income of the SSE is not accessible, is not accessible in the hands of any other person, in the hands of any other person under any other provisions of the Act. And most important is third, no interest will be admissible. No interest will be admissible on the belated refund claims. On the belated refund claims. Fourth point, CCIT oblique CIT, CCIT oblique CIT is empowered to direct the assessing officer, to make necessary inquiry, to ascertain the correctness of the claim, and also that the case is of genuine hardship. On merits. Last important point is no claim under this provision. will be entertained where a period of more than 6 years, from the end of the relevant assessment year, has elapsed. See, let us suppose an appeal is filed, and in the appeal, the appointed authority reduced the tax oblique income. Consequent to the order of the appointed authority, your income got reduced. Consequently, your tax got reduced. Naturally, what will happen? Your refund that you are going to get will be more. In that situation, section 240 says what? Without the SSC making any claim for the refund, authorities need to necessarily make such a refunds. This is being given by section 240. Write down. That is section 240, refund on appeal. If a refund of any amount becomes due to the SSC, as a result of any order passed, in an appeal or other proceedings under the Act, the assessing officer shall refund the amount to the SSC without his claim for the refund. Then friends, the other issues which we need to discuss would be section 242, that is correctness of the assessment. Can it be challenged when you are making the claim for the refund? Right now, section 242, correctness of the assessment. Can it be challenged? At the time of making the claim for refund? Write down. The correctness of any assessment any matter decided, any matter decided which has become final, and conclusive, or any claim or a request for review of the same, cannot be questioned by the SC, while making the claim for refund. Then friends, we discussed about the interest that the SSE can get if there is a delay in giving that particular refund. See, this interest when the SSE will be eligible. First thing is, if refund is out of the tax paid under section 115 WG, fringe benefits, or by way of TDS or TCS under section 206C, or the advance tax during the financial year, then the SSE shall be entitled to the interest on the refund. Of course, in case if the refundable amount happens to be less than 10% of the amount of the tax determined under section 143(1), that is through your intimation, whatever the tax that is being determined, your refund falls less than 10% of that particular tax which is determined by 143(1), then no interest will be paid on such a refund. Or even otherwise, if it is a regular assessment and the tax is decided and your refundable amount comes to be less than 10% of the tax assessed either to 143(3) regular assessment or your 143(1) intimation, then friends, yes, you will not be eligible for any interest. So these kind of exceptional things you should remember. Then what is the rate of interest? Interest is at the rate of 0.5% per month or a part of the month. Then what is the period of interest? For advance tax and TDS, TCS and FBT, for every month or a part of the month from the 1st April of the assessment year to the date on which the refund is granted, the SSE is eligible for, what is it, 0.5% per month. And for all other taxes and penalties, from the date of payment of the tax oblique a penalty to the date of the refund is granted. Here you should carefully understand. That is, with respect to the TDS, TCS, FBT and advance taxes. Because all these things are being done before 31st March. So you are given the interest from which date? From the 1st April of the relevant assessment year to the date of the refund is upon. Whereas for all other taxes, other than these things, the date of your paying the tax to the date of the refund is the point. Of course, sometimes the delay of the refund proceedings are due to the reasons attributable to the SSE. only are required, then such period of delay shall be excluded. That is the point. That is due to SSC's default, if the refund proceeding is getting delayed, means for that there is no interest will be paid and such period will be excluded. Is the point. Increase or reduction of the interest, that is if the amount on which the interest was payable is increased by the any regular assessment order or the aggregate authorities orders and all, naturally what should happen, friends? Even the interest refund will be changing, means naturally interest also will be getting either reduced or increased. Of course, if you are getting interest on the refund, please remember it is a taxable. Interest on the refund is a taxable income. Write down the important points with respect to the interest on the refunds. First, if the refund is, point number 1, if the refund is out of any tax paid, is out of any tax paid under section 115 WJ or by way of TDS or TCS under section 206C or advanced tax during the financial year, the SSC shall be entitled to interest on refund, Of course, more than the rule, exception is more important. Write down exception. No interest shall be payable. If the refund is less than, 10% of the amount, of the tax determined, under section 143(1), similar section for the fringe benefits under section 115 WE1, or on regular assessment, What is the rate of interest? Write down third point. Interest is paid at 0.5% per month, or part of the month, Then period of interest. This is very, very important. Period of interest. A. For advanced tax and TDS and TCS / FBT, for every month, or part of a month, from 1st from 1st April of the assessment year to the date on which refund is granted. Next point, for all other taxes, penalties from the date of payment of tax, penalty to the date on which refund is granted. Of course, what is the period to be excluded? You need not write, you can remember. If there is a delay that is caused due to SSC, then such a period will be excluded. And in case if the tax amount is getting increased or decreased because of any revision or because of any appropriate authority's order, naturally the interest on the refund also will be changing. And most important point to make note, that is that the interest under section 244A is to be treated as the income of the previous year, in which it is allowed. Then friends, the next issue will be, can refunds be set off against the tax payable? This is also important thing from the examination point of view. Write down. Section 245. Set off of refund against the tax remaining payable. Yes, it can be done. However, SSC shall be intimated about such proposed action under this section. And can you withhold the interest on the refund? Next issue is withholding of interest on refund. Can it be done? Answer is no. Write down. Refund under section 244(1)(a). And interest thereon cannot be withheld by the department. On the ground that appeal is pending before the High Court. Pending before the High Court. Of course, what is the point earlier we studied? Let us suppose the refund is becoming due because of an appellate authority's order without SSC making any claim for the refund need to be given is a point. And please remember, for giving the refund, the turnover of the SSC or the profit of the SSC, these are not the relevant factors. So point of interest here is interest on the refund or the refund amount cannot be withheld by the SSC once the SSC is eligible for such a refund is a point. So with that we are completing the topic of refund, wherein in my personal opinion the most important areas would be definitely the interest on the refund, then the other issues like can you challenge an already concluded thing while making a claim for the refund, and what is the time limit within which you need to make the claim for the refund, and belated claim for the refund can be made up to what date and who can condone that particular delay in your making the claim for the refund. And these are the issues you just keep in the mind and then well prepare for the